Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty incredible. We're looking at how one of Egypt's most important ports is getting a futuristic makeover with technology that, honestly, feels like it's from another planet. But it's very, very real.
So let's just start with this question. How do you do that? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But at the brand new Hutchinson terminal in Sokhna Port, this is just a normal Tuesday. It's happening every single day. And it's the very first time anything like this has been done in Egypt. We're talking a massive leap forward. And to really get a feel for just how big a deal this is, think about how it used to be done. You'd have one operator way up high in a crane cabin, wrestling with these manual controls for just one machine. Now, look at the Sokhna way. You've got an operator in a nice, air-conditioned control room managing multiple machines with what looks like a video game joystick. It's not just a small tweak, it's a complete reimagining of the entire job. All right, so let's take a look inside the nerve center of this whole operation, the central control room. This is the command center, and honestly, it feels more like a NASA mission control than what you'd expect to see at a shipping port. Yeah, forget climbing up those huge, windy ladders. And here, operators are sitting in these comfortable, ergonomic chairs, looking at a wall of screens that gives them a perfect live view of everything happening outside. They're controlling these gigantic machines with a level of precision that's safer, more accurate, and way less physically demanding than the old way of doing things. And this right here, this quote from an operator really says it all, doesn't it? The fact that one person can operate 3 of these massive cranes from a single station, that's not just about being more productive. It's about creating a fundamentally better and much, much safer job. So you're probably wondering, how on earth is this even possible? Well, it all comes down to cameras. And we're not talking about 1 or 2, we're talking more than 30 high-definition cameras installed on every single crane. That gives the operator a complete 360-degree view of everything around them. But, this is so much more than just a fancy camera setup. The entire system is built on something called ultra-low latency communication. All that means is that when the operator moves the joystick, the response is absolutely instant. There's no lag, so what they see on the screen is a crystal clear live image. And for those really tricky movements, the computer actually steps in to help ensure perfect precision. They have more information and more control than they ever could have had sitting up in that cabin. Okay, so we've seen the control room, but who's actually out there on the docks doing the heavy lifting? Let's meet the new crew. And spoiler alert, they're all electric. First up, you've got the giants of the port, the STS, or ship-to-shore cranes. These are the big guys you see lining the waterfront, the frontline workers that pluck containers right off the world's biggest ships. And they're smart too. They can scan a container's position and automatically go back to that exact same spot later. All right, so once a container's on solid ground, a new team takes over. These are the RTGs, the yard cranes. Think of them as the master organizers of the port. There's a whole fleet of 18 of them, and they are meticulously stacking and sorting thousands of containers, all while being controlled from that central command room we saw earlier. And what connects the whole thing together? These guys, the automated trailers. I mean, look at them. They're basically self-driving workhorses. They just cruise between the ship-to-shore cranes and the yard all on their own. Some of them don't even have a cabin for a driver because, well, they don't need one. And what's so cool is that all of this gear, from the giant cranes down to those little trailers, is built on the same core principles. Every single machine is 100% electric. They're all designed for remote or automated control, and that leads to this huge jump in both safety and overall efficiency. Having one robot is cool, but getting a whole team of them to work together in perfect harmony, that's where the real magic happens. It's like a perfectly choreographed ballet of massive machines. So let's just trace the journey of one single container to see what that looks like. It's this beautiful, seamless 4-step dance. First, an STS crane lifts the container off the ship. It then places it down onto a waiting driverless trailer. That trailer takes off and drives itself to the right spot in the yard. And finally, a remote-controlled RTG swoops in, picks it up, and stacks it exactly where it needs to go. A continuous, automated flow. Okay, so right now, the system is what's called semi-automated. That means an operator is still making those final, critical moves, just with a lot of computer help. But the future? That's where it gets even crazier. The goal is to get to a point where an operator just tells the system, hey, move this container, and the system will handle everything else, finding an empty space and putting it away all by itself. So, why all this change and why now? Well, this huge investment in automation, it's about way more than just one port. It's actually part of a much bigger story for the entire country.
This whole terminal is basically a flagship project. It plugs directly into Egypt's Vision 2030, which is the country's national strategy. It hits on two huge goals: transforming the country digitally and focusing on sustainable development, especially with that all-electric fleet.
So, when you boil it all down, the goals here are super clear. Number one, boost productivity, just move goods faster and more efficiently. Number two, embrace the digital age with the best technology out there. And number three, do it all sustainably, which means protecting the environment.
And the takeaway here is huge. This isn't just a little upgrade. We're talking about a landmark achievement. By being the very first automated terminal in the country, Sokhna Port is setting a brand new standard for how logistics and trade will be done, not just in Egypt, but across the entire region.
So it really leaves you with a fascinating question, right? We're literally watching automation completely change one of the oldest industries on the planet right before our eyes. The big question is, what's next? What industry is going to get this kind of radical, game-changing transformation next?